Welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
It's the 13th floor, y'all. 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 It's the 13th floor, y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture is always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and I got my man, Coach K, up top. What's happening, brother?
What's going on, man? I'd like to welcome y'all back.
Hey, man, you know, it's been a long time, man. I missed you guys, man. I feel like it's been a while since we've all been on Just Us.
Oh, it's been a long time.
It's been
Absolutely. I was thinking about it last week when we were doing the break room, and I was just like, wait a minute. When was the last time all of us were on together?
It would have had to.
So yeah, man, this is good. It's good to be back with everybody.
Absolutely.
I feel like we in the 13th floor bubble.
BJ, what's happening, man? What you got going on?
Good, man. It's good to be here. Good to see y'all. Good to be back together again because I needed the time to just kind of just talk, man. So I'm excited about tonight.
There it is. We're gonna come back to you to see what you got on your chest, man. Get it off real quick. Faison, what's happening?
I'm good. It's a good week. This is a good week. It's been I'm good. Very well. Mentally in a good place.
You should have talked to him last week.
Going down.
Some of them cryptic text messages we had going in the group.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing a call. I can't do this.
Everything is shut down. Holla.
It's crazy how that happens, man. And then you kind of get stuck in that situation. I feel like that's where I'm stuck there for probably like another week, and then hopefully October just turns over and everything kind of.
You should not say that.
Bro, I have to. I got to speak it into existence. Nope. I'm claiming it. I got to claim it because otherwise, it's gonna be hell on wheels forever.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, to hear about a shitty October.
COVID 2.0.
D guy.
What they do, man?
What's happening, man?
So literally while we're sitting here going through these intros, yes, we haven't been together in a minute, but then I realized halfway through the intro, I was like, man, this dude's gonna come to me last because then he's gonna be trying to get me to do the fresh ovation right now. So I had to go ahead and dip in that bag. So
you gotta pop us off, man. The power of positivity, baby.
I realized that I ain't gonna go against it no more. We here. It is what it is. Beautiful city in the background. My Jammy, you know what time it is. Let's see here. Where can I go? The more I'm grateful for what I have, the more comes to me. I'm so grateful to be in this body. I love myself unconditionally. I love my life. I'm grateful for my life. By focusing on gratitude, I attract more and more beautiful things into my life. I'm having the experiences I need to have in order to become the best version of myself. My heart is open and full of gratitude. I know, especially right now during quarantine, what is this, like
we in like 6 months.
36 weeks, like exactly. Like we've been in this thing for quite some time now that it can feel like them walls are closing in. I'm sure for many, businesses, opportunities, all kinds of stuff have either closed, opened up. It's just been a wild shift. But through all of this, understand everything happens for a reason, has a purpose, and it is only used to make you better, stronger, and able to have an awesome story to tell later on. So use that as fuel, fire, keep that thing pushing, keep that thing fresh evaded. You know what it is, we out here.
Church. That's why I'm looking forward to October, man. It's gonna be amazing. Watch.
Big facts.
There it is. So quarantine, man, you mentioned that. Do y'all still feel like the quarantine is really going on? Because I feel like, things are normalizing real quickly going into what's supposed to be this second spike, especially the way that they opening up the state in Maryland.
I questioned it, man. I posted that today in response to somebody else's post. I'm looking around and people at weddings and all grouped up together and doing stuff, and I'm like, bro, am I living in a bubble down here in South Florida and the rest of the world hasn't told us we good now? Or like, what's going on? Because
Uh,
everything we go, everything we
Um,
do, restrictions and
it's crazy. It's that herd mentality that people. It's been out there that people say go out there and just do it and get it. It's just a mixture. I mean, each state is different, so people are traveling from other states as well too, and they're popping out. I had a wedding across the street from me the other day, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. But it is what it is. People are just the more it's open, the more people are assuming that it's there. It's happening. But some of the other states, like New York or so, they're still maintaining their thing and not playing around. So
It's
I was gonna say I see two trends. One, the less melanin you have in your skin, the less likely you seem to believe that COVID is like a real thing and truly still prevalent, like still happening. But then also the younger that you are, because I see a lot of like college, high school kids who to them it's oblivious. They have no like real thought or concern or care, necessarily in the validity of it, it seems. But that's been the biggest thing is that everybody, especially in those two categories, got so stir crazy over these couple months that they are in a straight state of effort. Like they don't have a care anymore or thought. They're like, hey, I didn't get it, or and some of them, the crazier thing is some of them have gotten it and just whatever. It's whatever, man. It's like a cold. You should get it too. They're having parties with it. Like, it's crazy, man. It is crazy. My bad, Kat. I cut you off.
No, it's all good, man. I don't know, man. I think it's like a 50-50 split. Like some people you still see out here with, the doggone mask, face shield, all types of stuff, gloves, and then you see other people just la la la. Hey, I'm drinking. You want to drink from my straw? I'm like, heck
right.
no, I don't want to do that. So it's interesting, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this second spike. I think the real problem is the way the whole thing was handled. What's true? What's not true? What did we react to the way we should have? What didn't we? I think people are just confusion has just led to just do whatever. Just do whatever you want. If
Yeah,
you're gonna
people
die,
have
you're
put
gonna
their hands
die.
up.
You're gonna live. You're gonna live. Whatever.
100%.
Absolutely.
People have put their hands up on just man, I can't take it no more. I'm not gonna worry
That's
about
what it
being
is.
in the house anymore. And like I don't know where y'all are at, but I know over here on the west coast of Florida, man, restaurants and bars,
That's what I'm
the
interested.
6 feet of suggestions, like they still be getting it popping, acting like it ain't nothing. It's been it's interesting, and even the difference between the west coast of Florida versus the east coast. So like Fort Myers, Naples area where I'm at now versus going back over Fort Lauderdale, Miami area and seeing the difference. Like when it was really prevalent, I'm going over to Miami, Fort Lauderdale side, and that's when I first started seeing the 6 feet apart and in only certain ways in the grocery store and all of this other stuff. But then I go back over to the West Coast and they're like, if you want to wear a mask, I mean, it's on you. I ain't gonna make you do it. You know what I
like
mean?
the
And
outside of you trying to wear masks is what I'm hearing from some people.
it's yeah, and it's been interesting. It's been very interesting, especially seeing that. It's one thing to be one area, so you just feel that that's what it is. But when you're seeing that vast difference during this whole time, it's been just like, what is going on?
Fresh, have you done a set inside one of these like nightclubs or bar situation? Because that's what I'm most interested in. Because I've heard that, like you said, they just been.
I'm not ready for that. I'm literally supposed to do my first I think it is a wedding, but at the spot it's got like an enclosed DJ booth. But I'm definitely not I don't think I'm game yet to be in a big close, like even to risk it, because I I got hired for a party, and when I pulled up to the party, it was like at an Airbnb, and when I pulled up there was like 20, 30 cars in the front of the party. Like I was supposed to DJ. I
2-bedroom
pull
house.
up, there's already 20, 30 cars that are like pulled up over by this thing, and I'm just like, what is going on? So I called my guy who had booked me, he's like, oh, we're gonna be there. So I'm just like, all right, whatever, I'm waiting. But I'm like, I'm not going inside this place right now. He gets there, mask up. We walk inside. As soon as we get to the door, I can hear music. I'm like, there's too many people to be here. They're like, oh yeah, they're shooting a video. Man, it was like hearing the beginning of Ether. I'm just like, what do you mean a video? Like, what are you talking about? This wasn't supposed to be no huge party, you know what I mean? Walk in, there's people all over the place. I immediately just walked over to the patio. I'm sitting there just like, chest getting tight. There's two, but luckily there was other DJs there. So I'm first confused, just like, why am I here? B, I'm more upset because I'm just like, why you put me in this situation with all of these people? Like, it's a lot of people. And then
listen, bruh, there wasn't even nothing to question. I'd have been like, you got an extension cord? Cool.
Man, I was on the patio. I looked inside again. I looked over at them. They started cracking jokes about some, oh, I guess you're probably gonna have the night off. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take my speakers back to my storage unit. Never saw me again.
Well, it's good to hear you draw the line, man, because I've had to do something very similar, like walk into a situation where I think it's one, maybe two close friends, and then it's like 16 other people there, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll talk to y'all from the outside and move back around, man, because, and like Carol mentioned, just the conflicting reports from the CDC, it's airborne, it's not airborne, all of this mass confusion that's being, propagated out there. You just got to stay safe, man, especially when you got little ones at home and things on the way. Like, it's not worth the risk. I just
To
don't
me,
get it.
that period, the risk is not worth the reward. Like, and in all honesty, I'm fairly positive it would, it might be a shitty situation, but I'd be fine if I actually got it. However, I'm here with my mom, you know what I mean? A lot of the time that it's like, it's not worth it to me to risk, going out there and getting it to find out, okay, I'm straight, but then now I've killed my mother. It's not worth that to me. It doesn't make any sense to people who are just walking around with they mask off their nose and everything. It's just like, what is going on? Like, what are you doing? I saw this dude today. Buddy was Spanish. He had on one of the blue and white masks. And actually it was yesterday. It was at Chipotle. He's got on one of them blue and white medical masks, got his nose hanging out, and now look at the mask. And the mask is, even though it's supposed to be a blue and white mask, the mask is as brown as me. Like, I'm just
He
like,
used that mask for 3 months.
Yeah,
Right?
The same
what are
mask
you
the whole time.
doing, bro?
Like, bro, disposable.
Yeah, like, I almost wanted to just give him anything. Like, man, I got one in the car. Let me give you this. Like, it's just, but that's the thing. It's I saw another on Facebook. I saw someone posted where this less melanated white lady decided that she was selling masks that had holes in them. That it was literally just
I saw that.
just the outline pretty much of the mask to then, it's just about compliance. It's not about doing it. No, nobody wants to argue with you, Nancy, to go ahead and talk about how you want to, come in here with this holy mask on just so that you can. It's insane. It's insane, man. It is insane.
Has anybody had to draw those lines at work? That's the question I'm supposed to y'all.
Not yet.
I did. I had to do that. I don't. Anybody else have to do that?
Yes.
What was your situation?
I mean, I toss out this. I'll let Brett answer first.
I have to constantly remind people of the 6 feet requirement, you know what I'm saying? And then it's the face mask. So like you said, it's hard for me to remember every time I go into a store, damn, I got to get my mask. So I always end up walking back, to the car to get the mask. But when I have to go into the office, which I'm doing a little bit more frequently these days, I just keep it around my, my face or whatever, and just pull it down if I'm in my cubicle area, if I don't have to be in direct, conversation with anybody. But random, just walk up, hey, Brett, nothing on your face. And so I just politely, do like this and back away. And hopefully they get the hint. But it's been a couple of times I was like, I've had to actually say, hey, we in the office, we got certain protocols and everybody wants to stay safe. So, get your shit together, please. Pretty much, basically. But luckily enough, small business, so it's only like 4 of us in the office at a time. And people are most respectful. It's just a couple that just forget, quote unquote, each time to keep the mask on.
4 people. Get out of here.
Mine was a little bit different, and mine dealt with, I guess, superiors trying to demand stuff. And so my territory goes from all the way up in Lake County, just above north of Orlando, all the way down here to Miami. So I live in Broward County, so most of the time I'm in the territory of Palm Beach, St. Lucie, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, right? So right now, Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade are all the schools are still virtual for the next at least couple weeks until people start going back, which they finally decided some kids are gonna go back. That's a whole nother story episode, another time. But just like you said, Ian, the other districts, I go up north and I go west a little bit. I go to Polk County, I go to Orange County. Like they started back school a while ago, so they're in, and the expectation from my superiors is that, well, they're in school, you need to be in school observing instruction going on. Like, okay, so my schools close to me are closed, so you want me to go there? First of all, I'm not staying in the hotels right now. Right? Because I got to come back home. At the end of the day, like if my schools were open, I realize I have to go to the schools I can control that environment in my car. I'm not renting cars from like 2 or 3 times a week. I'm not going to stay in the hotels overnight. So if that's a requirement, like then I'm going to be out of compliance. So for me, it's like, I'm not doing it. And it just had to be that conversation. Like, if you want me to travel overnight, if there's nothing I can do in the day trip and back, then I can't comply. And if that's what your expectation, then I need to step down and just saying it flat out like that. But I say that from a point of, I'm comfortable with telling somebody that because I'm not worried about repercussions, right? I'm not worried about that. And I say that again, not out of pride, but out of like, you can't make me feel like I got to pick this job or come back home and keep my family safe, right? You're not going to force me to make that decision. But I do have coworkers who aren't in that position and they're scared to say something. And all I can do is coach them in the background. I'm like, look, y'all got to speak up for yourself, but I can't speak for you.
Right. Agreed.
So
that's a life
when it comes
lesson,
when it comes down to it, so again, I tell it like it is. There's a retreat coming up. They come with an idea they want to do a statewide retreat in Tampa in like another 3 weeks. I'm like, the paperwork due to travel is due last week. I'm like, Brian, we don't got it.
Have fun with that.
I know you don't got it because I ain't going. What do you mean you're not going? I'm not submitting the paperwork because I'm not traveling. Because you want me to come there for 2 days to sit in a room with 30 people in a room that holds, so they call the protocol is the room holds 150. We're only gonna have 25 to 30 people so we can space people out. So you're gonna bring people there to talk to them because you can't do team building activities where you're up on people sharing stuff. You're gonna be delivering information to me from either a podium or from your computer sitting at a table to me sitting at my computer table. Why do I need to travel to Tampa for 2 days? Like, explain to me the reason why. You can't do that? Y'all have fun. Let me know how it turns on the backside.
That's because all of their reasoning is, I hate my house.
Right.
I need to get out. Please, I need to get away. Give me a valid reason to get away.
But some people are itching to get out. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I love the fact that my kids go to school and I'm working from home as well, but they got a question. They come out, I can help them real quick if I'm not in the meeting. I talk to them at lunchtime, see how their morning classes went. If they got a test or a quiz after lunch, we can study real quick before they go in there. I love the fact I can do that. I'm a homebody by nature. I don't got to travel anywhere. I'm good. But so for me, I'm great.
He said, I was made for quarantine, baby.
But for other people though, it's like, again, people are scared for the fact they're ready to. The job has a hold on them. We'll put it that way, and they feel that they're caught at a point where they have no other choice. And I pray to God, I'm never in that situation. And
you are definitely the exception, not the rule.
I do recognize that, but I think that's because, again, I go back to what Carol and I always talk about. understanding your purpose, and then understanding is your job your platform, or is it your purpose, or is it just something that's getting this by?
A check.
If it's a check and you got to make ends meet, I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but I'm fortunate right now that I like, look, I'm not going. And if that's a problem, then I'll go find something else. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think people struggle with finding a balance when it comes to that. And right now, I think a lot of folks out there are in an imbalance because you're absolutely right. They are terrified and there's a lot of anxiety they have just getting up to come to work, but they feel like I have to because this is how I make money. This is how I provide for my family. When really at the end of the day, no, it's not. Your gifts and your talent are how you provide for your family, not that particular job that you have. And if you feel like your job is putting you at risk, then you owe it to yourself to find another source of employment that's going to value the health of you and your family, period.
And sometimes that is, and I want to like to state that means stepping out your comfort zone. Just because, again, I go back to your platform versus purpose. I can fulfill, if I know my true purpose, I can fulfill that almost any platform. There's maybe only a couple I can point out that I can't fulfill that in, and I'd be stuck. But once I understand how to make those moves, I can do that in retail. I can do that in personal consulting, in my own in a consulting business. I can do that working at a job as a manager somewhere. I can do that if I had to go back and do something. At the end of the day, I'm not scared to go back and say I need to do X, Y, and Z for time being to put bread on the table while I find my next move. And how do we get everybody to that point and not get them to the point? How do people understand, like, again, my gift, my talent, as Kay just said, like, that's what I'm using, but I may even be wasting them where I'm at right now.
I think the biggest thing is we weren't taught that, right? Like when we were coming up, and our focus was more about money and like job position than it was about, your heart and your passion and what you feel you're good at. That's the thing. If you have to start now with the youth of understanding it is okay to follow, you will go further following your passions and talents and live a far more fulfilled life than you will chasing a check and status.
And you're absolutely right. Because the biggest thing that we were taught was stability.
Yeah.
Get yourself something that will provide you stable income, a stable life, and just rock that out. But stability it equates and is synonymous with safe.
Correct.
Within the bounds. Don't draw too much attention. Don't question a bunch of things. And
like it. That's the thing about it. That's funny is like you really think about it. The teaching and the mind state of that mentality is also based in when you would, man, I don't like work or I don't like it. You're not supposed to like it. Like it's about getting checked. Shut up. But facility to do it, you just go. And it's like, no, there are actually people who love their job, who it doesn't feel like they work. And that's the way everybody should be. Everybody should have that opportunity to make income and live life, but in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're schlepping through it and that it's so painful and it's just like, oh, I'm working, I'm just busy working for the weekend. You shouldn't have to do that. Every day should feel like the weekend.
Yeah. And man, it presents itself in different forms too. And unfortunately, you'll get into situations where there are people that may be of a higher position than you, or, whether that be at work or just in life, you know what I mean? That they're in a better place. And it's because they've just stayed consistent and didn't draw any attention for 35, 40 years. Right. And it's just like, well, man, you had to do all that 35, 40, 50, 60 years. And then when you finally are done, you got like 10 years left to enjoy your life the way you really want to enjoy it. Like, who wants to do that?
I gotta
And
think.
hold on, don't. I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. There are some people who do enjoy doing that, and if that's your life, you live your life. But I'm letting a lot more of y'all know that
And a lot of
doesn't
people
have to
do that.
be your life. You know what I mean? My bad, Art.
No, you're right. And I was gonna say, just to add on that, there's some people who do just like going to work 9 to 5, come home to their kids. They're happy with that process, but they're live their means so little that by the time they retire, they're the ones that are traveling this or doing those things. When they're done, they retire and just have fun. So it's just your personality. Like, if
I mean,
and listen, if you're a worker,
you're retiring, you're having the version of fun that you're able to at that point, right?
right?
Yeah.
Because you go and, you know, you can't go on that excursion that's going, you know, climbing up a mountain because, oh man, I'm too old for that. I'm too tired.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So you never get that once in a lifetime experience. You get to sit by the pool, you know, and read a
Yeah.
book. And don't get me wrong, some people enjoy that, but I want to be free at the point where you still have options.
Yeah.
And Art, even though you enjoy that now, you were not always that you know, oh yes, that's what I want to do. I remember a guy terrorizing his way through a amusement park, shutting off escalators and everything because of the action he wanted to make sure was going down. So it's just like there, and it was because you could have it at that time. That it is a big difference of being able to enjoy your life when you are healthy enough to enjoy it to the fullest versus, you know, being able to still enjoy it, but you're you know, you're only able to do what you can now, as opposed to really being like, yeah, man, I'm gonna jump off a waterfall and I'm gonna do whatever it is. You know, it does get a lot different when you're doing it at 50, 60 versus 20, 30.
It's true, but I mean, we also got to remember that not everybody, and much as I hate to say this, these two words together, not everybody's going to be an alpha. Most people are going to be they're just going to be workers. I mean, not everybody can be a boss. So, you know, the free mentality, the free thinkers out there is a minority.
I
Which
disagree with you.
Really, I think there's people.
Everybody can be a boss of their own life.
This is true.
You might not be the boss of somebody else.
It's not boss.
but
Yeah,
you
it's
can be
not
the boss of your
like
own life.
in the company. No, but
Yes, right.
you
But there
control
are
it.
people
You
who
run.
be
You are the
workers.
author of what goes on day to day.
Right.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. Y'all can say it. You could be the
What?
captain of your fate.
I won't go say that.
I'm not gonna pull a big this out, but the factor is, again, everyone, as much as everyone wants to be, or you have those that succeed far, in order to have that succession, in my mindset, in order to have that succession bubble and that flow through, there's got to be people who are below you, and the mindset that there's gold below. There are people who work below you who tell you the gold, who pass up information, and you need them. But it's just a cycle. It's a cycle of the life pyramid, and not everyone's gonna be up top. So
People, I think the people that exercise that from a young age and implement it daily expect that the majority of the people around them will not question, will not push.
I agree.
Right? And I give you guys an example. So tomorrow, which by the time the cast drops will be like 2 days ago, we have some company execs coming to my location, right? And my boss has set it up to where several of us will be doing presentations. Now, granted, I'm 30-something days in at this particular site, but somehow I have a good part of the presentation, multiple points. So we had kind of like a dry run through the day, and he sees something in my PowerPoint, and he's just like, whoa. I don't know if you should say that. And I'm like, well, why not? Well, you know, when you say stuff like that, like those ears perk up. Good. I want the ears to perk up because I want them to know about this. I want somebody to pick up the phone and be like, hey, why is this way? And move that obstacle out of my way so I can do what I do. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, don't worry about it. If somebody got something to say, guess what? I thought I would be here 5 years. It's been 18. That's 13 years of overtime. I can take I can take my skills someplace else.
I love that.
That's so true.
And but you just said it, you can take your skills somewhere else. The platform you're using right now is just, that's where you ended up to be able to right now. Again, if I'm free to say it, to provide, to put food on the table, to pay the bills, while you build and while you understand that you're just honing those skills right now. So what is it that motivates us? What is it that drives us on a regular basis? What is it that is that internal fire? Again, it doesn't have to be the boss or something, or I have to own this or that. I know people that are happy, and they go into their job every day, they're happy. And they could be the custodian in the building, they could be the CEO, and in everything in between, right? If that's what you do, if you're happy, just the thing is about, are you content or are you happy? If it's just content just about getting by, then we need a checks and balance system built in somewhere. We need something like just a timeout. Let me do a pulse check. Am I still alive? Or am I just on life support, going through the day in, day out on life support? If it's on life support, then like that's the problem with most of people in America, I'm gonna say, because I can't speak for outside of this. But when you come across people here, it's like, it's Monday, I can't wait till Friday. That's not the way I want to live day in, day out.
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday. Thank God I get to go home and crash and do for the weekend. And all day Sunday, they depressed because they got to go back to work Monday. Like that's not the life I want to live. And I don't have to be having the house on Millionaires Row and the boat out. I don't need all that personally, right? But it's the freedom to be like, look, my kids are doing good. My wife and I, we got the bills paid, and we might not be balling somewhere, but we're okay, right? But I can take any minute and enjoy my time with them. I can enjoy time with you guys and sit down and do this podcast, whatever, because I want to do it. I want to do it, and I love the fact that we can have these conversations. That's just something I look forward to. But there's people out there who have something like a podcast on their mind for years and just haven't even taken the step to do it just because they're just scared to do it. Or they don't have the time or opportunity because they're so busy selling their life to the other man for nickel and diamonds.
Say it again.
It's just get to the point where, when do we get enough?
And I don't want people to misunderstand, because we just happen to, I think, I'll speak for all of us on this podcast. We've all broken free and kind of see things a little differently. And we've all got things in our minds that we want to do and things that we want to happen. So don't think that we're saying, oh man, we're not like the rest of you. No, we've been there. We even lapsed back into that at times.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we use this podcast like a gateway drug. This podcast is the gateway drug to everything else that we're thinking about doing and want to make happen, because you just got to find that one thing that you're going to hold on to and try it and make it happen and see where it goes, right? The worst thing that can happen is what? We put out the podcast episode, and the only people that listen is one of our mamas, and that's it. And you know what? Our mama is happy to death about the fact that we did it, and they got something out of it. Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's good enough for me.
By the way, Mama said she loved the break room last week. He texted me last night.
Oh, nice.
Just like that.
Thanks, Mama. Appreciate you. See, now I'm happy. I don't know if anybody heard it, listened to it. Nobody on here even said anything about it. But
I did, but it's okay.
No, you told me I was rambling. That whatever.
No, we heard about it. we talked when we were watching the Lakers game about it.
Man, and all of that, I hear a lot of things. One of the big takeaways, I think, is intrinsic value, though. I think finding that intrinsic value in whatever it is you do, alongside that fire and desire that BJ was talking about, is what's going to be important. And I love what you just said, selling your life to the person I love that. Like, that should be on the next shirt. Like that's it right there. Because a lot of us, that goes back
to the people putting the clearance rack version of themselves out there in the world.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. It's huge, man. It's huge. I think that's big. I also think that the comfort zone, people get stuck in it and it's easy because it's comfortable, but you'll complain in that comfort. And I'll use an example, will be vague at the same time. You know, a close friend, mentor of mine has been in a comfort zone with a very important, we'll say, person, you know, that's a very important person. And up until recently, did they finally find what I would say is the confidence and ability to want to be like, you know, just put the foot down and stop taking the BS that comes along with certain levels of comfort, you know, finally, you know, making demands or stating that, no, we're not going to do this way. We're going to do it this way, or just stepping up to the plate and not being bullied. And as soon as you start making those decisions, or they started making those decisions, they start seeing that, oh, there's not really many consequences to this, or it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm not losing any more money than I thought I was going to lose, or I'm not, my reputation hasn't been sullied to the point where I can't come back from it. So I think once we start looking at these barriers or things that are in our way, and not necessarily just sitting in that comfort, like BJ was talking about with his employer, he straight up tell him, no, I'm not traveling. I'm not comfortable with it, you know, versus myself. I'll go to Philly, you know, for a day and come on home or whatnot. It's no big deal. But other people who are just working in those situations and don't have the confidence, or just sitting in that fear for lack of, or for sake of being comfortable, you selling yourself, man. So I think, you know, focusing on, you know, that confidence and esteem to get you outside of those situations is really important, man. I'm glad to hear that we got it here. Hopefully the listeners are taking this in and ready to step up to the plate and tell boss, I ain't going for it.
By the way, we are going to call this podcast episode the Fire and Desire episode.
Oh, I already named down already for this episode, but I will put in parentheses.
Art said he not feeling it.
No, I like it.
Not really.
I like it. I'll do that. Will be the title, and I'll parentheses what I wrote down as the title. So we'll go with that. We're good.
There it is.
The pen is in the air and it's being written down right now. It is now on ink.
Hey, you don't have to listen to me, man. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and do what you think you need to do.
No, we're good.
What's gonna make you happy, brother?
Right. Step up to the boss. There it is. Art, I hope you got your corner ready, because we coming your way next.
Like next, like now next.
Like now next.
That's not next.
We are in the corner about to say,
Right.
we're walking down the street.
You know what? All right, I got a good one, because this is something. Shout out to What's Up Next. This is a podcast that I listened to from two amazing people. They're young. They're in love, engaged, and they kind of break down the ability of having this same conversation. A couple weeks ago, they talked about the not having the fear of their boss telling them, oh, well, you know, if you want to do the right thing, just keep on this path and you'll move on to where you'd be. And she said, it's not where I want to be. Like, it's never my goal to be here. And thank you for that motivation. I got a plan of life. I'm 24 years old. Like, it's not my long-term goal. So it just, like you said earlier, it's the ability to know for yourself that, hey, like this is great for now. This is my path, my step forward to where I need to go. It's a stepping stool to get me there. But you got to know what you are. You got to know your passion. This is not what you want. Then be cool with it, and be cool with saying that thank you very much for that process or that next step. But I'm going to diverge left. I'm taking the other field and going that way. It was just cool. So I want to give a shout out to them, because they had that there and we're talking about it now. And it's kind of coincidence that we just happen to be in the same space, that now is the time to think about yourself and what you're doing, and if you're going the right way with your career, your path, and your life. Because no one, like I always say, no one wants to look back and say, I wish I could have or should have. It's all about what you can do, unless you know you want to go that path and you're fine with being ordinary. Most of us want to be extraordinary. So choose a path that's right for you.
All right, I'm gonna stay there for a second, man. What's the name of that podcast again?
What's Up Next? WATT up next.
Man, y'all better stop shouting out these people that don't shout us out.
FYI, they did shout us out 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's big.
Yes. They listened
Shouts
to
to what's up.
Listen to your break room, and it was like I listened to my boy Art's podcast, and the break room was amazing. The first 20 minutes was on fire, and the first 2 minutes was on fire, and I couldn't stop it. She told their whole team about that. So.
Oh wow! Well, okay. Shout out to them, man. My bad. I didn't know.
Made that man just have to eat that right back up.
I mean, we just not hearing about it, so we gotta.
Right.
I was waiting for the right time to throw it in because they deserve to be put in the right place, and it wasn't going to be just a throwback because it was there. It had to be genuine.
Okay.
Man, we should have shouted them out the very next cast, man. Hey, listen, we hope y'all listening this week. Don't be mad.
They are.
Appreciate y'all.
Clean it up, Jay. Clean it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, all right. I wanted to ask, did they discuss, and if not, give me your thoughts on the diving deep into that versus like maybe having 1 foot in and 1 foot out, like you're going towards whatever that goal is, that purpose you made your decision up. But
talk about that because the Hokey Pokey is a terrible song. It teaches you bad habits.
There it is.
I can see you telling Arthur, stop it. We're not singing that song.
It's no, they spoke about, and his husband, well, girlfriend and boyfriend, or fiance. They did speak about the ability to just say, I can leave tomorrow. It's okay. So she's committed to her path, and she's ready to go forward. She's just doing this now because it just helps out while they build their family and their ability to leave. But she's not afraid to just go, okay, I'm done. So she's all in to what she wants to do. She's already done her path, completed all her certifications. She's just literally there now as the path until COVID's done. Until like any day now she can leave if she wants to. She's not tied to it. So now she has fun because she's not tied to the job. And the job is now cool because there's no need for it. It's more of this is what I'm enjoying now in this part of my life.
Man, get that monkey off your back, that pressure.
Right.
Makes it a totally different situation.
Yes.
Absolutely. Before I go to Coach K to close us out, man, I want to remind everybody that you can get this podcast everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Vimeo, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Anchor, and a host of other podcast streaming platforms. Make sure you're following us at 13th Floor, please, on all your social medias. And let us know, man. Leave it in the comments, man. Tell BJ how fire he was this episode, coming out the gate with everything.
You can feel his passion
the intensity
through your speakers.
Yo, this has been one of those ones. Is like how are you gonna live up to what you really believe in? Like, it's gonna test you, right? And it gets to the
that
point
line
where,
in the sand, baby.
Yeah, it's
what
like
you gonna do.
Like when you have, and again, does the possibility of retaliation or something cross my mind? Yeah, but I don't. Y'all can't hold nothing on me. Like,
yeah, what they gonna retaliate?
I know what I'm worth. I know what I'm doing. I know the relationships I built. I know what I bring to the table. Like this Lily, I'm in this job because I choose to be here. Like almost like you said, I don't desire to grow any further than where I'm at now. I do what I do now because I love the impact that I have on schools and kids, right? I can go do that in many other positions around the world. We've talked about that before. Like, I'm not holding this job as this job is not held over my head as leading me down a path. I could care less. And again, it's still a burden because you have to figure out what that is and commit to it and move forward. But at the same time, it's freedom. It's like, I'm not going to do something just because you think and you're okay with putting yourself and your family at risk of doing so. Like, again, when I do my job, yes, locally, I'm not taking an uncalculated risk to do so. I'm not staying overnight. I'm not renting cars like that. I'm good.
He's good. Fear is a mind killer, ladies and gentlemen. Fear is a mind killer. Coach K, Morpheus, the tuner. Tune us up, man. Get us up out of here.
You want me to follow up after BJ and his passion, man? Like, what am I supposed to say now? But
fire and desire, baby. Fire and desire. That's all I want to hear.
Fire and desire. All right. So one of my mom's favorite songs. And this is not me dating myself. This is kind of me showing you just the diverse range that I have. So Sammy Davis Jr. has a popular song. It's called "I Gotta Be Me," and one of the lyrics in that song is that I can't be right for somebody else if I can't be right for me. And for a lot of you out there, you all are out there and you're so loyal to your employer, to things, to your family members. And I'm going to say it now. You can't be loyal to somebody else if you can't be loyal to yourself. And that's kind of what we've been talking about this whole podcast, is that we just get so used to what somebody else is providing for us when we are actually providing it for ourselves for a fee. And when you know what your actual worth is and you stay ready to inform somebody else about what your worth is, you don't have to worry about leaving that job. You don't have to worry about leaving that bad relationship that you're in, that you just in it because it's comfortable. You know the person, you know the things you don't like about them. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I know what I don't like about this person, and that's why I stay with them. I don't know what I won't like about the next person. People say that foolishness, and I'm just like, what? That is ridiculous. Listen, know your worth, know how you apply it, know how you prove that that's your worth, and the doors are open. You go anywhere you want to. Somebody's going to pay you. Somebody's going to pay you what you're worth, whether it be in monetary, just in time, companionship. Stop being loyal to people that aren't loyal to you. Don't go where you're tolerated. Go where you're celebrated.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all for joining us here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are
Amazing.
Your boy.